So maybe you're looking to sell your watch for whatever reason. Maybe you just want to liquidate it and get something else. Maybe you just need the cash. So you go online, you search a little bit, and you find some retailers looking to buy your watch, but they lowball the hell out of you. So now you're thinking about maybe selling it yourself, but it's a little bit intimidating. So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about selling a watch online, specifically on Facebook. I'll talk a little bit about the situation I just described where you're personally trying to get out of a watch, but I'll also talk a little bit about the route you might take if you're trying to start this as a business. I chose Facebook over eBay or Chrono because that's where I choose to sell personally because there's no fees. So the first thing you want to do is clean your watch. The last thing you want to see, whether you do this personally or as a business, is a bunch of fingerprints on the pictures of a watch that you're trying to sell for 10 or 15 grand. After you clean it, you want to inspect it. If you're looking to build a business, you might want to invest in a time grapher, which basically tells you how good the watch is keeping time and how strong the heartbeat is. Next step is to take a bunch of pictures. Here are the different angles I try to take of every watch that I have. Additionally, I think it's important to have at least one video of it. Now on Facebook, it's all about getting as many eyeballs as you can on it. If you're interested to see how I post in multiple cities and in all the right Facebook groups, I go into a little bit more detail in my mentorship. More about that later. So you've done everything now, you've got your watch listed, now what do? Now just wait for the messages to come in. I'll tell you now, 90% of the messages are gonna be from tire kickers. It is what it is. It comes with the territory of being on Facebook. Now, the key though is to treat everyone like a potential long-term customer, especially if you're trying to make this a business. The name of the game is all about finding that retail customer. So in my 2 years of buying and selling watches, I've found that watch people really like talking about watches. So if you're watching this video and you've got a watch to sell, one of the coolest stories you can share with the potential buyer is why you got this watch in the first place. I've sold to many first-time Rolex buyers, and kind of giving them my opinion of their options and talking them through that is such a cool thing to do for somebody. And I bet they'll remember that. So as you sift through these messages, you might be in the situation where somebody wants to trade you their watch for yours and maybe have some money on top. This is also something I cover a little bit more in depth in the mentorship. I mean, if you're trying to do this as a business, you definitely want to take advantage of this. But even if you're trying to sell this watch personally, it might be a win-win situation because you can, one, get out of the watch that you're trying to get out of, and two, possibly get into a watch that you might enjoy wearing for a little while. And when you're tired of it, you can get out of it because I'll show you how to get into it at the right number to where when you're ready to get out of it, you can make a few bucks also. Win-win situation. So you go through all these messages. Maybe somebody wants to buy it outright. Maybe somebody wants to trade you for it. You find a potential buyer. Now what do? If this is your first time selling, you're probably not going to be in a position where you ship and wire unless it's to a dealer, which isn't a bad option, right? Because if it's to a dealer on Facebook, it can be seamless, it can be safe, and it'll be more than if you were to find one of those big online retailers. You'll get more money out of it. In my last video, I talked about a reference check and doing all your due diligence. So you would have to do the same in this situation also. Because they're the dealer and you're the private seller, you would have to ship your watch first before receiving the payment. Now, if you do find a local end user as the buyer, the best thing to do is to meet up at a local jewelry store because the buyer wants to feel safe in getting a real watch. You can have the jeweler authenticate it. Usually it's about 50 bucks. And after they're done authenticating, a lot of times you can just do the transaction in the store. It's a safe place. The door locks from the inside unless they press the little button to get you out. They've got cameras all set up. You can do your transaction there and then leave. One thing I'll say though is if you do this, park your car as close to the entrance as possible because once you're done with the transaction, you can just get up and get out of there. You did the transaction inside the store. There's probably been a lot of eyeballs on you. You just never know, and it's just a good idea to get out as soon as you can. So that's it. That's how you sell a watch on Facebook. If you're interested in knowing more about how I built this side hustle into 250 watches over the last couple years and just spending a few hours a week, drop me a comment down below or on my Instagram page, My Watch Guy, one word. I have a 6-month mentorship where I basically hold your hand and show you how I did everything, even down to how I package a watch and ship it and insure it without paying FedEx $300 to do it. All I ask is that you have an interest in watches. We don't have to start with Rolexes. I've helped people start with as little as $5,000. We can start with Omegas. They tend to move quickly. Anyways, hope you like the content. I'll make more videos about my watch watch trading journey, so consider subscribing if you're not already. See you on the next one.